What's up, everybody? Welcome to Make Things Tiny. My name is Mick. I know owning a lot is at the top of the list for a lot of you who are looking to go tiny, especially if you're looking to live in a tiny house community. So today you're in for a real treat. We're welcoming Herman and Mauricio back on the channel. They're the owners of Queens Bay Tiny House Community. They're going to give us a little more detail on the lot ownership side of living in the community. They're going to talk to us about the price. Some of their lots go for as low as $60,000. This is a great video for those of you who are looking to go tiny. You want to live in a community where you can own the lot. You can be lakeside. You have beautiful views of the bay and of trees, and you're surrounded by nature. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and let's jump into it. Let's learn about Queens Bay Tiny House Community and how you can own your own lot. All right, I am here with Herman and Mauricio. Thank you both so much for coming back onto the channel. I'm excited for people to get an update about Queens Bay and get excited about all the opportunities there are for them to live in a tiny house community. For those who didn't see your first interview, if you don't mind just talking a little bit about your background and what got you interested in tiny homes, and then we can jump into some of the other questions.
Sounds great. Well, it's good to see you again, Mick, and thanks for having us back on your channel. It's great, and we're looking forward to reconnecting with some of the people that follow you. So our community is in the south central part of British Columbia, close to Spokane, and I live in Calgary, but I've got some family. My brother lives in the area, so I've been going to that area for most of my life. And about 6 or 7 years ago, we found this property that we're developing as Queens Bay Resort, and that's kind of how I got into that. I met Mauricio at the same time, and we've been developing it together since then. So it's just for me, I've always been attracted to the area, and it's turning out to be a really cool tiny home community.
Yeah, no, I think that's great that you kind of fell into it, but you also just have a genuine interest in it as well too. I think that's the case for a lot of tiny house community developers. And obviously the property is lovely, which people who've seen the first video have gotten like a glimpse of it. They'll get to see more of it after this interview with more of like an extended video tour of the community. So that you have several lots available for sale, which is a huge thing. I know a lot of people reach out to me and they're interested in a community, but when they find out they can't own the lot, they sort of like hesitate and they don't commit. What makes these lots unique compared to some of the other opportunities people have for, in a typical tiny house community?
First, I would say that they are in a spectacular setting. So we're in the middle of a golf course, 18-hole golf course. It's a 13-acre parcel of land in the middle of a golf course. We're surrounded by mountains, and we're very close to one of the largest lakes in British Columbia. It's called Kootenay Lake. And so that in itself is unique. It's got year-round recreation, obviously golf and boating in the summer, great skiing in the winter, and we're a year-round resort. People can use it as a RV resort or live there part-time in a tiny house, or even live there full-time year-round. So we're very flexible, and I think that's a unique aspect of it. And the other thing is that many of our owners also rent out their homes as through Airbnb or whatever, so it becomes an investment opportunity as well. So we try to combine all the features of a resort in that one location: great recreation, great investment, great scenery, and a fantastic community.
Yeah, I agree with Herman. This place got it all. So you have everything there. It's so nice that, when you go there for the first time, you just fall in love with the place. And as Herman said, it's not just the scenery. It's not just what you can do there. It's a good investment as well. Because, some owners have already sold their places to other buyers, and it keeps going. So it's fantastic.
That's a really great point to mention too, just the flexibility piece of it. So if they decide to buy a lot in the community, it's not just that you have to be locked into living there yourself all year round. You could live there part of the year, which I know is a really attractive option for a lot of people living in different parts of the United States, but you can also rent it out as an Airbnb. I know a lot more people are looking at tiny homes as a potential way to earn, somewhat passive income. So I think that you having those different options makes it really appealing for people who are, maybe they're hesitant to live there full time and they want to try it out. So maybe trying it out half of the year and then renting it out could be a good way for them to do that. Can you talk a little bit about what the price range looks like for the lots and also what people get for that price?
Sure. So the prices, I'm talking Canadian dollars. So the prices go from 80,000 up to about 250,000 for our biggest lot. But most of them are in sort of the 80, 85, 100,000, 125,000 range. We had 96 lots to start. So the whole community is consisted of 96 lots. We built it in 3 phases. We pretty much sold out phases 1 and 2. We've got a few lots left in those 2 phases. And we're opening up phase 3 now. So we've got about 44 lots left to sell. And they're at the higher price point, of 125, 135,000 Canadian, which would be 100,000 US, depending on the exchange rates. So very affordable. The other point that's really important to make, and I know you have a largely American audience. So we're obviously in Canada, and Canada has a law about there's a foreign owners ban. So foreign people who are not Canadians can't buy land or houses in Canada, except in our community. So our community is unique in that it's set up as a share-owned corporation. So that means that we can sell up to 10% of our shares, which is a share. When you buy a share, you actually buy a lot. So you own your lot as a share in the corporation. And so we've got 9 shares in total that we can sell to American buyers. And that's really what we're trying to reach out through you to those people. We've had a lot of interest from the U.S., and so we're glad that we were able to find this avenue for people to buy land in here. So it's quite unique. If anybody in your audience who's an American citizen, this is a really unique opportunity to own property in Canada.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, you're hitting on a lot of really important points, especially because there are more and more Americans that are looking to, invest outside of the United States, potentially move outside the United States. And when you say, Canada, I think people don't necessarily understand like location wise, like where different parts of Canada are compared to other parts of the US, but you're actually not that far away. You're not too far from Spokane, which is really accessible for a lot of people, on the West Coast or parts of the Southwest US, even on the East Coast as well too. So you're not
Yeah.
in sort of like a really far away, remote location in Canada, which some people might originally think of when they think of Canada. You're really close to, you're not too far away from being able to access like a major airport, and it's not too far of a drive if you want to just drive from, the northern Pacific Northwest part of the United States, which is great too. And I like that you
Yeah.
mentioned that, this is a really unique opportunity for people, especially if they want to own land in an affordable sort of option. Even 100K is still considered affordable for land ownership in most of the United States, especially for what you're getting in terms of access to the community. Can you talk a little bit about what, a typical day or like what life would look like if you were an owner in the community, different amenities, especially for people who didn't see your first video?
Yeah, it depends on the season, right? Because when it's the summertime, we've seen people, walking the dogs in the early morning, having a cup of coffee, you know, overlooking the lake and the beauty that is being given by the golf course, which is really lushy green. And then after that, you can go to the beach, you can go for a walk, you can do some trails, you can do biking. And after that, you can go to Ainsworth Hot Springs, that is very close by. Then you can just go back to your place, start the fire, have a barbecue with friends. We've seen them all. And at night, continue watching the stars. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful. And
Yeah.
that's for the summer. And in the winter, everything turns different. It's so cozy being there and being able to go skiing. Whitewater is just an hour away, where you can have a state of the art skiing, and then go back to your place, start the fire, and do some sliding. So it's so nice.
Yeah.
That's basically a typical day, and it caters to everyone, for summer people, for winter people, and for just being in a part of a community. And we have seen that it's not just that you own a piece of land through this share option, but also you're part of a community which is really growing, and it's a really nice community. People who want to live there really want to build this community, so you have a sense of community, which is great for a place like that. Even if you can just call it for a summer vacation, a winter vacation, or call it home, community is important. And we've seen that community has been built there.
Yeah, it's really turning out to be really nice. And so the other part of it is that we have fiber optic cable. So for the digital nomad, and that's a lot of people. The people that can work from anywhere. They can easily work from inside their tiny home. Actually, we just had some people up from Colorado who I think that's part of their plan is they're going to live there, golf as much as they want to, but also be able to catch up on their work and keep on it. So it also caters to that. I think the other thing to say is that we're very close to the city of Nelson, which is a city of about 10,000 people. We're about 30 minutes away from Nelson, and Nelson is a very unique city in British Columbia, but anywhere in the world. It's got great shopping, great restaurants. It's a very cool place, and it appeals to a lot of people. So there is that. Yes, we're out in a small community, but close to Nelson, close to a lot of great amenities there as well.
Yeah, I think to combine, you're really painting like sort of like an ideal picture for why a lot of people choose to go tiny and live in a tiny house community instead of just like buying a piece of land and being on their own in a remote location or like parking their tiny house in their friend's backyard because
Yeah,
you actually get to be a part of the community, like really be immersed in it. You can have like your really awesome summers and your cozy winters, but you can still get work done. That's a huge
yeah.
plus for a lot of people, especially like millennials and even some like Gen Z folks that are still trying to make sure that they, bring in the income they need to, pay their bills and live the lives they want to live. So having good internet and being able to work from home is a huge plus as well too. I know that the lots that you have, like the space is limited. So what would you say to the person that's watching right now and they're kind of like, they're excited, but they're still sort of hesitant? What would you say to them to sort of like encourage them to consider like sort of like taking the leap and becoming an owner at Queens Bay?
Well, I think the first part is the lifestyle that we've talked about. The second is that it is a good investment opportunity. So, I mean, it's something that if they can try it for a few years. If it doesn't work, you can always sell it in the future. Um, it's a part of being part of a Canadian community, which I think has a lot of attraction in itself. Um, those are the main points that I would say. Just the lifestyle, the being out in nature opportunity. It's unbeatable.
And as you said, Herman, before, we have limited availability for American buyers. So the sooner you get into it, you will secure a place. We only can offer up to 9 shares, and that's it. Once they are taken, we cannot offer any more. So it's a great opportunity for lifestyle investment, all of the good of all worlds.
Yeah, and we've got some great tiny home builders as well that we can connect people with for a number of really cool tiny home options. For everything from a tiny home on wheels to an actually fairly good sized tiny home and they're really well made. So that's something else that we can offer as a great connection to. So that it takes that that uncertainty or that worry. Like, oh, now I got to find a house. I got to build a
Mhm.
house. How do I do that? Well, we've got some great partners who are very very helpful and have very affordable houses that they can get into.
That's good for people to know because I feel like, the more questions you can answer for people and the more sort of like hurdles you can sort of solve for them, the more likely they are to feel more at ease with making the decision. So I think it's great that after this conversation wraps up, they're going to be able to get an extended, tour, like more than a sneak peek of the community and really get a sense for what it could potentially feel like for them to live there. So I appreciate that both of you were willing to come back on the channel and just sort of talk to us a little more in depth about the community and about the lot ownership piece. And I'm excited for people to reach out and ask questions. So links to everything that you're doing will be in the video description. They can reach out to you directly. Your contact information will be in the video description as well too. And I hope they reach out and come and check out the community and be a part of Queens Bay. So thank you guys so much for being on the channel. And I'm definitely, welcome to have you back at any time.
That's great, Rick. Thanks for having us back. We really appreciate it. And just even though it's winter, it's still a great place to come in the winter to look at a lot. So don't think you can't come up here in the winter and look at a lot. We're selling all year round.
Come and see us.
Come and see us.
Awesome. Thank you guys. All right, that was my conversation with Herman and Mauricio. I appreciate Herman and Mauricio coming back onto the channel to give us an update on Queens Bay, talk to us a little bit more in depth about this exciting opportunity to own land on their tiny house community in Canada for potentially less than $100,000, to be able to be part of this growing community where you have access to really incredible amenities, really wonderful views, waterfront views, and everything like that. So if you're interested in Queens Bay, you're interested in potentially becoming a lot owner there, make sure you reach out to them. You can check out their links in the video description here. You can reach out to them directly. There's contact information in the video description as well too. And if you have not seen their first video where they talk about Queens Bay and what inspired them to create the community, you can check that out here. And don't forget to think tiny. I will see you guys in the next one.